Your brain believes what it repeats, not what's true.
I'm telling her, I'm like, Mom, I want to leave. I'm trying to be nice, but you're about to make me mad. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to remove myself, but you are actively hiding the key from us.
Oh my God. How many people out there can relate to wanting to get away from the situation, trying to get away from the situation, and they won't let you get away?
Do I show my sadness and my fear or my anger, or do I threaten the relationship? Well, there's no choice at all. The child will choose the attachment, and therefore they give up connection to themselves, which is the essence of trauma.
Hello, my name is Maddie and welcome to the Anti-Alienation Project. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than the typical videos that I make. It's going to be more laid back, more casual. I'm just going to be myself, and we're going to break down some TikToks that I have saved in my TikTok. Today we're going to have a little bit more fun. There's some funny ones, there's some more serious ones, but I just wanted to sit back and kick it with you guys. First things first, my name is Maddie and I talk about things related to a certain form of child psychological abuse that I went through for 20 years. And it really happens when one parent manipulates their child to reject their other parent. Often happens in a custody battle or a divorce, but it can happen in intact families as well. I was manipulated to reject my dad for 20 years until I figured out the truth, that I had believed lies, false allegations, other terrible things about him for 20 years. And I figured out the truth, reconnected with him, and now we have a really solid relationship. On my project, I seek to educate the public as well as try to alert other people who are still living in a parent's delusion to the reality of their situation. Without further ado, let's get into it. And let's start with a funny one. This TikTok is coming from I'm Just Talking SHTT. When I watched this first TikTok, I was rolling laughing. It is so funny. She's hilarious. And it's also because it's so relatable to me. That's why it's so funny. But she's talking about her mom here and basically her last straw with her mom, why she no longer talks to her mom. Let me know in the comments if this is relatable to anybody else out there watching, but I thought it was freaking hilarious. So let's just watch this.
This is going to be a long one, so bear with me. I just got back from my mom's house. Let me tell you why I am never going back over there. Right. Okay, cool. I go to my mom's house. I take my dog with me. My big sister's over there. Everything is cool, right? We watching tennis, we having a conversation, we end up going to go get some frozen yogurt. Now, I've been peeping. My mama has been making some like shady comments or like trying to make like these weird, like making weird commentary towards me, and I've been defending myself and deflecting that shit every single fucking time, right? Unfortunately.
Sorry, this is so fast. I didn't realize I'd put it in 2x speed. Hope you can still understand her. But she's basically just been putting up with her mom's shit for so long, and now she's finally had enough.
I have one of those moms where if you don't allow her to disrespect you, it's disrespect, right?
Oh, boom. Yes. Oh, by the way, before I filmed this video, I talked to my husband and I was like, I'm going to try to make a funnier video. I'm trying to throw in some dry humor and sarcasm. And he looked at me and he started laughing. He's like, you are going to be funny. He doesn't think I'm funny. I'm really not. I mean, I'm funny in my own way. I think I'm funny, but other people not often think I'm funny. But this girl's really funny. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how my mom is. Like, if you don't tolerate disrespect, you're being disrespectful. Yeah.
Right. So now we done ate the frozen yogurt. We go to Walmart. We get back to her house. We help her stake some of these lights that she done went and got from Walmart, and then we go back inside, right? So my mom's like, oh yeah, let's play some Uno. So now she's shuffling the cards or whatever. She's like, Gabby, get me that Powerade out that fridge and get me a cup of ice, right? And see, my thing is, I don't mind doing this stuff, but I do mind it when my mom gets to talking to people like she's like in a disrespectful manner, right? It's weird. Like, it's like, Gabby, can you go and just like get that Powerade that's in the fridge and get me a cup of ice while you at it, right? Something like that. All right, cool. I ain't mad at it. Make sure get my Powerade and give me a cup of ice. Like all that extra carrying on, that's weird to me, right? So I'm just like, I'm getting her the Powerade, but I'm also like, yeah, like let's revise the tone, right? Let's just revise the tone, right? So I get her the Powerade and I get her the cup of ice, right? I get her a cup in a glass. I put the glass down. I said a plastic cup of ice. She didn't say.
Her impression of her mom is hilarious.
A plastic cup of ice. Y'all, she didn't say a plastic cup of ice. So now you already talking to me like I'm not even a person, let alone your daughter. And now you sitting here trying to get into it with me about the type of cup you got. I grabbed that cup. I grabbed that glass. I went ahead and threw all that. I threw that ice in that sink. Put that glass down and went sit on the couch. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that shit. And then here come my sister. Can you just get her the ice? I'm like, no, you get her the ice.
That's the frustrating thing with siblings. They will back that other parent up and they will be making you feel like you're the problem. Annoying.
Get her the ice because I'm not dealing with whatever this is. And now here comes the theatrics and the lies and the drama. First off, she lying, talking about she having a hate flash and, oh, I'm about to fall out. Just give me, I need something. Mind you, she has a chilled Powerade that's been in the fridge for 24 hours. It's sitting right here. If this is her chair, if I'm her, I'm sitting in this chair, the Powerade's right here. The Powerade is already open. You drunk from the Powerade. So I'm confused on why you're now trying to make it seem like, oh, if I don't get a cup of ice, that you're gonna die from a heat stroke. I shit you not. And so I'm sitting here like, I'm not entertaining this shit at all, right? So then my sister ends up just going to get her a plastic cup of ice, right? So she sits the ice down in front of my mom. You would think that my mom would then take the Powerade, open the Powerade, pour the Powerade in the cup, and then drink it if you are actually going through something so traumatic that it's fucking with your bodily functions. Like, you're sitting here making it seem like you about to die from heat and from thirst, but yet you have a cup of ice right here, a Powerade right here. You wanna know what she did? She told my sister, pour the Powerade in the cup. And so my sister pours the Powerade in the cup. She drinks the Powerade, and the whole time she drinks the Powerade, she's trying to go back and forth with me. She's sitting here going back and forth with me, calling me out my name, doing all this extra carrying on, and I'm sitting here like, girl, I don't give a fuck about none of this that you're talking about, right? So then she finishes the Powerade. Then she starts talking to my sister crazy. Come over here, pour me some more Powerade. Like, doing all this extra carrying on, right? My sister is over it now. She's like, no, I'm not pouring.
I love the term she uses here, extra care, extra care. And if you notice, the mom in this situation using the children to take care of her. So she's parentifying the children. And this is just so common. I don't know what kind of parent thinks that their kids need to take care of them. My parent, but also her parent. And it's just sick. It's just twisted. But the extra care, yeah, no more extra care. Signing off on the extra care.
You shit no more. Like, I'm not pouring you nothing no more because now you're doing too much. Like, you actually are doing too much. Why did this lead to the same woman who just sat up here and said, I am about to fall out from heat stroke or hot flash, whatever the fuck she said? This woman then gets up and starts chasing my sister around trying to hit her.
Oh my God.
This is the same woman. The same woman that got her ass up and is now chasing my sister around trying to hit her. She then grabbed my sister's phone and threw my sister's phone, like full force, threw my sister's phone at her twice. So now I'm like, all right, cool, I'm ready to go. Like, it ain't no shade, I'm ready to go, right? So now my mom just sat back down, right? My sister, she's back in the kitchen. Like, she's done. Like, she's over it, right? So now I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and head out. I didn't grab my dog. I'm ready to go, right? Mind you, right? My mom is sitting at the table right here. The kitchen island is probably like right here, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And so I looked at my sister. I'm like, yeah, can you go ahead and move mom's car from behind my car so that I can go ahead and leave? Because I'm not trying to stay around this, right? My mom then gets up, grabs her purse off of the counter, sits back down, and puts her purse in front of her. The key to her car is in the purse. She knows the key in the car is in her purse. She knows that we need the key to move the car for me to leave. And instead of her giving the key to my sister, she grabs her purse off the counter and tries to hoard the key. And so I tell her, I asked her, I said, Mom, where's your key? She gonna say it should be up there where the keys is hanging up at. I said, Mom, the key is not up here. Oh, then your sister got it. I said, Mom, she doesn't have it. It's in your purse. Can you please just give us the key? She started ignoring me, right? So now I'm starting to get angry because I'm trying to remove myself from a situation and you're trying to keep me in it, right? So now I'm telling her, I'm like, Mom, I want to leave. I'm trying to be nice, but you're about to make me mad. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to remove myself, but you are actively hiding the key from us. Can you?
Oh my God. How many people out there can relate to wanting to get away from the situation, trying to get away from the situation because you're getting angry, you're getting inflamed, and they won't let you get away. And they almost think it's funny to hold you hostage in the situation. And then when you react, of course, it's all your fault, right? Yeah. Relatable. And it's so immature. You're really going to hide the key? You really think she's not going to know where the key is?
Please just give her a key. She gets up like a fucking child. I promise you, she gets up. She grabs her purse and she storms upstairs and locks herself into her bedroom. So I'm sitting here.
God.
I'm trying to calm down. My dog don't know what the fuck is happening. And I'm just like, you know what? Okay, cool. I put my dog back in his cage, right back in his crate. And I go upstairs, right? So now I'm determined as ever to go get this fucking key. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Because now it's in my head, I'm trying to not escalate the situation because I know that's what she wants. I know she wants a fight. I know she wants me to put my hands on her. I know she wants me to do all this extra carrying on. She should call the police and act like she's the victim and do all this extra carrying on. That's not what I'm finna do.
She wants me to do all this extra care.
But I also know my mom. I also know she likes to cosplay as a hood bitch. She likes to cosplay as like one of these bad.
She likes to cosplay as a hood bitch. Oh my God. Oh, this girl is so funny. My mom likes to cosplay as a martyr and victim. There we go.
Midwest motherfuckers whole time she is soft. Okay, so I'm like, you know what? I start turning up a little bit, right? I do start turning up a little bit, right? But ultimately, my sister was able to intervene before things escalated. Because I was this close. I was this close to going to jail today, y'all. I promise you I was. I was this close to going to jail today. I was. But my sister managed to get the key, move the car. I came home. I'm not fine. I just say all that to say this. When y'all ask me why I don't ever see you with your mama, that is why.
Oh my gosh. That is so freaking funny. That's her dropout moment. If you haven't seen the other podcast I do with my friend Dorsey, it's called the Family Dropouts. You can find it on my homepage of my channel. And yeah, so that's her family dropout moment, I suppose. I'm sure a lot of people could probably relate to that, honestly. It's so crazy. It's funny at times, right? Now, here's a more serious but profound one. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I love this guy, Gabor and Maté. I'm probably butchering that, but let's just watch it.
People pleasers are the ones who gave up, not by conscious choice, but as a matter of survival, their authenticity in order to stay liked and accepted and attached with. But then they carry that on in the rest of their lives. And they're at risk. I always worry for the very nice people. So emotional repression has huge implications physiologically. And emotional repression is one of the impacts of childhood trauma. The child is born with some fundamental needs. One of them, as I've articulated earlier, is for attachment, for closeness, proximity, unconditional loving acceptance by caring adults. The other need is for authenticity. Authenticity is very important, to be connected to yourself so that you know when you're safe and when you're not. You know what you want and what you don't want. You know how to say no when you don't want something. You know how to say yes when you do. That's authenticity, auto, the self, being ourselves. So we have these two needs. Attachment on the one hand, authenticity on the other. Ideally, the two are not in conflict. Ideally, you can be in a relationship, or I can be in a relationship where we can be ourselves and be accepted and connected with.
Oh my gosh. When I went into contact with my mom, one of the things I said is it's self-preservation. Without knowing this fundamental principle that he's talking about, I said to myself and my husband, I said, it's impossible for me to love myself and to love my mom at the same time. And I couldn't really articulate why in the same way that I can now, but it's because in order to love myself and accept myself, I have to love and accept parts that my mom rejects, that my mom does not like or accept or want. And so in order to love her, I have to repress those parts of myself. I have to separate myself from those parts of myself that she doesn't like, that she doesn't want. And then I can't be authentically myself. So how do you love a parent who doesn't love all of you?
And that's ideal all our lives. But what happens to a young child where if they're authentic, they're not accepted? So when children are given this message of conditionality, that you're acceptable to me only if you behave in ways that I approve of, otherwise the attachment relationship is threatened, then the child is faced with this choice, which is not a choice at all. Then do I show my sadness and my fear or my anger? Or do I threaten the relationship? Well, there's no choice at all. The child will choose the attachment. And therefore they give up connection to themselves, which is the essence of trauma.
Wow. It's not a choice at all. When you're a child, it's not a choice at all. Yeah. And even when you're an adult, it's a heartbreaking choice. It's a difficult, painful, last resort decision. He is so profound. There's not one video I've watched of his that I have not completely resonated with. And it's so sad to have to think of a parent. As a parent myself, I have 3 daughters. It's as my parent myself, it's impossible for me to think that I would not accept and love all of them, flaws and everything, negative qualities and everything, that I wouldn't try to be there for them and accept them, and that instead I'd want them to shut off parts of themselves and repress parts of themselves just to please me. So selfish. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. This is a lot more fun for me than my typical videos, so I hope you're enjoying it too. Okay, this is another more funny video, but it's also very accurate. So you're going to want to watch this one. Okay, so this is High Five if you're still alive on TikTok. Go follow him if you want to. And it's about humor and trauma. And I think it was really funny. If you have a sense of humor, you'll probably think it's funny. If you're a little serious and triggered easily, you might not think it's funny, but let's watch it.
If you blame trauma for the way that you act, you had better have the trauma to match, okay? Because some people say, well, you don't know what I've been through. And then they tell you, that's not enough, actually. You better have gone through something else that you're not telling me that's worse also. Because that's not going to cut it. Got to put you in a war zone or something, an active combat situation. You understand? Something worse.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far. Okay, calm down.
This has got to happen to you pronto. Crime scene. You're in the photos. You end up as a suspect in a Netflix documentary series. And even after people finish the series, they're still not sure. That's trauma. Do you have a favorite relative? I could mail them an asp. Imagine, why are you like this? Oh, my grandfather was bit by a venomous Amazonian serpent. When he was trying to get the newspaper, people will say, okay, carry on. It makes sense. Your attitude is justified. As it stands right now, no. Trauma bank empty. Trauma card declined. Overdraft fees.
Oh boy. Some people might not think that's funny, but I think it's funny in the fact that there is a generation coming up, okay? A generation of people, of kids, under my generation, I'd say, starting with maybe my generation, that think the smallest things are traumatizing, that are weak, honestly, weak-minded, really weak-minded individuals. They think like just being criticized is abuse, or that they think, you know, that you can be hurt so easily, that you're very fragile, and they have a fragile mindset, victim complex. And that's why I played that video, because I think that's very rampant right now in the generations beneath me, and it's kind of disgusting. I'm not saying you need to go to be in war, or you need to be going through all this trauma to have been traumatized, and like, you need a thicker skin. Okay, here's another video on growing, expansion, self-growth, and the healing process. So I hope that this is helpful for some people.
Okay, here's one I just learned from a mentor that's really resonating. So let me see if I can articulate this. You're growing, you're expanding, right? And here's kind of how this process works. There's a pendulum swinging, okay? And when it swings to one end, it's your higher self or more expanded self, and you start feeling bold and courageous, and like you want to follow your intuition and make moves, and you're this better person, more expansive. You do all these things, okay? And then what happens is the pendulum, there's an airplane going by, the pendulum is going to swing back. Okay, so after you've made all this expansion and you've stepped into a higher version of yourself, the pendulum is going to swing back, and this is a continual process, into a past or lower or less evolved version of yourself. And suddenly you're going to kind of be, your vision's going to kind of be obscured by all this cloud and all of these clouds and all of this fog. And you're not going to have the clarity and the confidence that you had during this side of the pendulum swing. And before you see this pattern, right, this thing is constantly swinging. When you're in the lower swing, you might be tempted to kind of revert and kind of go back. But when you see this pattern, and when you see that it's a perpetual thing, it's always swinging, when you swing back to the lower self, instead of acting and instead of destroying the progress that you made when you were on this side of the pendulum, you can simply wait it out, meditate, pause, embrace stillness, do practices, and just wait for that higher swing again. And the more you can do that, the more you can catch that lower swing and not act from that past self and wait for the higher swing, what starts to happen is you slowly start to stabilize that higher version of you. And this pendulum effect is going to continue to happen, but you're moving your baseline. You're moving your baseline up towards that higher end of the swing. And if you can continuously watch this pattern and always lean towards that higher, more evolved self end of the pendulum swing, you're gonna make tremendous progress in your life, right? So look out for that pattern, look out for that lower swing. Don't act. Be prepared for the pattern. Don't act when you're in the lower swing. Don't destroy your progress. I've made this mistake many times. Wait for that higher swing. It's going to come back. Watch. You'll see this pattern. I promise. It's incredibly illuminating. I hope you found this helpful.
I hope you found that helpful. Just like he said, I noticed that pendulum swing for sure. And I think he's right that when you just sit in the pendulum, when it goes into the lower self, and if you can try to work through that and not make any rash decisions or act on any, lower self urges that you might have, then it will eventually kind of move in an upward direction toward your higher self. And I think that's really important to realize, because that goes along with like that saying. I'm sure people have heard this saying a million times, that healing is not a linear journey. So it kind of like goes up and down, up and down, up and down. The key is to have it go into an upward direction. Now, we're going to do another Gabor and Maté because he is so wise. Love him. And this one is going to be about, you didn't ask for the pain, but you get to choose the healing. This message is difficult for people to comprehend and digest, especially when they're in the midst of the worst of the trauma, when they've just realized that they've been betrayed, for example, and they're going through the first motions. Once you get a little bit further in the healing process, I think this message is more easy to digest, but I'm going to play it anyway because I think it's really important to realize.
There's a difference between default and fault. Okay, default, you didn't know you were doing it. You didn't know any better. You were just following patterns that were programmed into you. But it's not your fault. Okay, there's a huge difference. Important distinction. Number one. Number two, it's never the child's job to make the parents happy or to create peace in the family. And the child invariably fails, which instills a huge sense of guilt and inadequacy for not having fulfilled a task that never ought to be in yours, never should have been yours in the first place. It's a reversal of roles, because whose job it is to hold who emotionally, to create peace. And so when a child is forced into that position, again, as an adaptation to maintain a relationship with the parents, she's given an impossible task that she's bound to fail at and bound to feel shame over it, which means that any shame and guilt that you feel is completely undeserved. When we start to noticing these patterns, we can start asking ourselves questions, but it depends on how we ask them. Baba said, I wonder why I'm behaving that way. So we need to begin to develop that compassionate curiosity towards the self, where we start looking not to why did I, not this indictment, as you say, but genuine curiosity. And from that perspective, everything, pretty much everything anybody thinks is wrong with them is actually begins as an adaptation, or it begins as a failure of development because the conditions for development were not adequate. And so then we can understand. Now, it's not a question of being victims. That's the last thing we want to do, is to foster victim mentality. They did this to me and I can't help it. No, that happened and it's your responsibility and it's your capacity to change that now. So you have to drop the victim mode altogether, but that doesn't mean that we don't recognize what happened.
Yeah, very true. I saw another video where it was talking about when kids are abused and they can't escape the abuse from their parents, they don't believe their parents are bad. The result is they come to believe that they are bad. And that's an adaptation to an impossible environment, impossible needs that you cannot fulfill. You can't ever please your parent to the degree that they need you to please them. Okay, the last video I'm going to play is perhaps the most important, I think, because it's about how you can rewire your brain. If you've been through any sort of family or even not family trauma or abuse, this is really important to understand. I have embodied this message. I have fully lived out this message and do so every day because it's so important. And I wanted to make it in this video for sure. So this is somebody on TikTok. Believe it or not, there are actually a lot of wise people on TikTok if you can find them. Maya Mental Illness. And this is about your brain and how you can rewire your brain, your beliefs, and your thoughts, which are so crucial to healing.
7 years of neuroscience and psychology in 60 seconds. Your brain believes what it repeats, not what's true. Thoughts create your feelings drive your actions, and your actions create your identity and personality. But identity is plastic. Your brain is constantly rewiring. So when you repeat something with enough intention and emotion, you can change your identity. Self-talk isn't harmless. It's like casting a spell. Your brain and body are listening all the time. So the more encouraging, helpful, useful your self-talk is, the stronger relationship you're going to have with yourself. Your life will always reflect who you believe yourself to be, which is why you will never outperform your self-image. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined.
Whoa. She's talking so fast, we gotta pause. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Yeah. Okay, let that sink in, especially for those of us who have been forced to live in a parent's delusional reality for years or decades. Your brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. That's precisely why you can convince a child that they've been through some type of abuse where they really haven't been through it. False allegations of abuse. Why you can convince a child, because the brain doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Now, we can also obviously use this to our benefit now in healing. If you can imagine yourself fully healed, or more healed, I should say, if you can imagine the wonderful life you want to live, if you can imagine what you're doing, who you're seeing, the way you're talking, the way you're dressing, when you wake up, what you're doing with your day, how you're spending your time, what that life looks like, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. You might not believe me, but that's the truth, and I will die on that hill.
You visualize the person you want to be, how you want to act, how you want to talk, how you want to walk, you achieving your goals. You are rewiring your brain for success. You don't have thoughts, you get visited by them. And you don't have to believe every thought you think. You can't think your way out of a feeling, but you can feel your way into a new way of thinking. Unprocessed emotions stay stored in the nervous system. The body is always keeping score. About 95% of your behavior is automatic, run by the subconscious. Your brain is a prediction machine. It constantly guesses what's next based on old data. So if you can program that data, then you can change your future reality.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So if you can rewrite the narrative you've been carrying about yourself and your life, your future will feel the difference. Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense. Okay, guys, we've reached the end of the video. I found this much more enjoyable. I found this much more fun to film, honestly, than other videos I've been making. So hopefully you guys found it interesting and helpful and more fun to watch as well. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of video. It's more laid back, more funny. Please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy what you're seeing. I post in ghost on TikTok because I know a lot of younger audiences on there and I want to get through to them, but it's toxic as hell. It's a toxic place on there. You wouldn't believe the type of comments that you'll get on TikTok. It's disgusting. So I would not recommend you go on TikTok. If you want to watch more TikToks, maybe I'll make another TikTok reaction video down the line. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well, and I'll talk to you next time.